Hey guys, we are here with Halo this afternoon. Halo and I are out working on her healing skills and also working on boosting her confidence. So Halo by nature is just a shy, nervous girl, not super untypical for Shih Tzus. A lot of times, when training, we see a lot of working breeds and puppies and a lot of active dogs, smaller dogs like Shih Tzus and everything that aren't like, huge exercisers. They're not like as excited about doing walks. And Halo here is nervous of cars passing by. So the sound of all the cars rushing by really makes her nervous. So the past few days, we've been going up to the top of the street on Mount Gallant right there. And, maybe like 50 feet or so, maybe a little more away from the road. We've just kind of been sitting and working on giving her hot dogs and good girls and petting her and just doing all sorts of lots of positive stuff to show her that she can stay in a calm state of mind around something that's kind of scary and that I've got her back. So something that's really important to understand with training dogs. Halo came to me and she immediately started listening to me and doing things that I've asked because of my handling skills. So if Halo comes home and you guys change nothing that you did before she came to training, if you continue to keep acting the same way you did with her before she came, she's going to keep continuing to give you the same output that she did before training. It's not that she doesn't understand what all of the commands mean. It's just that she hasn't had a consistent read from you. So she doesn't have a way to give you any kind of a consistent, output from that. So making sure that she understands that 100% of the time when you guys ask her to do something, there has to be follow through with it. And that's where training really begins, with your dog understanding that they need to follow through with what you're asking of them to do. Now, a lot of people ask, like, how do I get them to listen to me? Your golden tool is your leash. Okay, so most people consider their leash to just be something that they take their dog out with to go to the bathroom. It's not. That is not what we have trained Halo to do. We work very heavily on a pressure and release system. So teaching her that pressure on her leash means calm down, go into a calmer state of mind. Now, we don't know that's happened as humans until we see a physical change in our dog, which is going to be a more submissive pose of a sit position. So we're not asking her to do a sit. We're simply telling her to calm down when we apply this pressure. So you can see, line myself up. Pressure on, she sits, pressure off. Right? So it's a very simple on and off system. And we also do that using ourself as a form of pressure using spatial pressure. So spatial pressure is moving in and backing off. So pressure on, pressure off. Okay, good girl. So let's say I had been holding pressure for a minute, and you can see it's very light pressure. I mean, pinky's worth of pressure is all you want to be used. You do not need a lot. If she starts wigging out and backing up, that means you're using too much force. It's way less force than you are expecting it to be, right? So you don't want to close your fists at all. See how when I close my fists, I have white knuckles? We don't want that. We want it kind of just resting on your tips of your fingers so it slides in and out. This is a tool that really just, it's a seatbelt. It's there to communicate with your dog in case you need to by using a series of pops and stops, by pressure on or giving pops to say pay attention. So you're going to think of it as a traffic light, right? You have red light, which means we're going to stop moving. Pressure turns on, and it's a straight up and down pressure. We don't want to pull to the back or to the side. Just a very light pressure on and off. So adding more force isn't going to change anything, right? So instead of adding more force, she's focused. Oh, good girl. See, I didn't need to add spatial pressure there. But if she continued to pay attention, so one of my neighbors was getting in their car, and that's what she kept looking at. So if she had continued to keep looking at them and wasn't focusing on that tiny force of pressure was on, I would use my spatial pressure to basically get in front of her and block her. See how she looked at me when I moved around, right? That's getting her attention again. And then she would have been like, oh, pressure's on. And then I would have released that tension and then back off of her too. So if we add a second force of pressure, all forces of pressure turn off at the same time. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that to you. Let's say we're holding, she hasn't been listening, right? So I can get in front of her. I'm still continuing to hold the same amount of force, kind of like I'm blocking in basketball, right? So I'm just getting her attention. She sits, pressure off. Now she shouldn't get up until I either release her or say heel. So it's either going to be okay, or heel. Heel. Good girl. Good girl, Halo. Now, when we're walking, now especially, you're going to see two things. Walking away from the house and walking towards the house. The house is her safe zone. It is where she feels comfortable. It's where she knows routine, all of that. It makes her feel safe, and she doesn't really want to walk away from the house. So I'm using hot dogs as an enticer. Come on, girl. Come on, here you go. To get her to continue wanting to move with me. Good girl. I'm also using a lot of verbal praise with her. Okay, good girl. Yes. Good job, baby. Good. So I'm kind of like leaning my hand down right now and showing her I have hot dogs. Good girl. I'm also practicing walking backwards. Now, by the time she comes home, I'm hoping we won't need to do that. But you never know. So like I said, it's all about your handling skills. She has had a year of being able to work with you a certain way, and she has had 1.5 weeks maybe of working with me a specific way. So she has never had the opportunity to do things incorrectly, but I'm also not just working on correcting things that I don't like. I'm not just saying, like when people overuse pops on their leash to basically say, change what you're doing, change what you're doing, change what you're doing, right? We don't want to keep saying, no, 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 you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, to a dog that has low confidence, right? How would we raise her self-confidence? By telling her she's doing a good job and rewarding the things that we do like her doing. So instead of pulling her right now to force her to do something she doesn't want to do, I'm going to make it exciting for her and make her want to do it so that it becomes a happy thing for her. It's not a forced obligation. Halo. I also use their name a lot. Good girl. There's my love. She loves verbal praise. She really likes to be told she's doing a good thing. She likes baby talks. And that's, using baby talk is okay for verbal praise. Now you want to use that, like I said, like, good girl, yes. Yeah, good girl. Come on. Come on, that's a good job, honey. Good girl. So just a little pop right there because she's not paying attention. Good girl. And then I've praised. Notice how she pauses. She kind of looks at me like she's deciding, what do I want to do here? Yes. I'm going to tell her she's doing right. Good girl. Come on. I'm not going to wait till she stops and pop. Say, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Right? That's not going to help her. That's going to make her feel worse. Good job, baby. Yes. I'm so proud of you. Good girl, Halo. Good girl. Now, even just maybe 2 days ago, she was putting on the brakes hard still. Like she did not want to walk away from the house. So we're almost even at the top of the street already. Right. Okay. So that was, like I said, was the first way. Now, walking back to the house, you're going to see a totally different dog. She's going to want to pull to get home quicker. Now, she's not going to put on the brakes. She's going to hit the gas, right? So now is the time for you to really show her that regardless if you're excited or you're nervous, that you're still the one that's in control of the walk and the direction and the speed. So a good thing I like to practice is going really slow. So you can see I slowed my pace down. She's nowhere near where she's supposed to be, right? So in a proper heel, she should be in this little box right here, right? She should be about at my knee or at my heel, right? So clearly up there is nowhere near. We should be playing a game of follow the leader, and she should be following where I go. Going in a straight line becomes super boring for dogs, and they're not going to be able to pay attention as easily as if you do things like this, where I'm constantly turning. Good girl. Good girl. Just a little pop there to get her kind of queued up. Right, so she's slightly behind me. She's following where I'm going. We have no tension. So right there, she tried to go to the other side, and I just gave her a pop before she went too far. So already she's kind of starting to slow down a little bit. That's perfect right there. See how we have that nice U shape in our leash right here? That means we have no tension and she's following my lead. She's not following a leash. She's following where I go. So right there, she started, come on, good girl. Yay, good girl. So right there, she started to kind of get behind me a little bit. So I changed direction. So you always have with your traffic light and your leash, you have stop, which is that full-on red light. You have pop, which is your yellow light, which means calm down or pay attention. It's not a full-on, you need to relax, right? It's just kind of focus. And then your green light is your U shape. So you can always do stop, pop, and change direction. So like I was just saying with going in a straight line, that becomes really boring for dogs. So doing zigzag patterns, left turns, right turns, anything you can do. You don't even have to. The first few days, so I live in a cul-de-sac, the first few days, I don't even leave my circle. We just go around and around in circle. We do figure eights, we do zigzags. We do things to get them to focus on me and learn how to walk with me. Healing is not just to go get exercise and take a walk. It is a moving command where you're making your dog continuously think and follow and work. So you're not just taking a walk, okay? So you want to make sure that the first few steps that you go with your dog, you're making sure they understand right from the get-go that you're in control of this walk. If you let her take the lead like this, you're telling her that that's okay, that that's what you want. If you want consistent results, you have to be a consistent handler. You have to tell her every time she leaves this box, I'm either going to make you pay attention again, I'm going to pop to say, focus. Or if she's really not listening and she's kind of way out, you're going to do a red light. Now, a red light, the stop, is really important for you to practice the first couple of days and weeks that she's home, because she does not know where your red invisible box is. She knows where my box is. Well, she's learning where my box is because of consistency. The only way they learn where this invisible box is by me saying, nope, you don't get to go here, you don't get to go here, you don't get to go here. Every time you go in here, you're either going to stop and calm down, you're going to get a pop to say focus. Now, if she's out of the box, a pop's not really ideal. You want to stop, right? Pops are more if she's in your box, but she's just like this. She's not looking at me. So I can say, hey, pay attention, right? Just quick little boop like that, just to say pay attention. If she's walking, okay, right? If she's walking, good, so she sees the cat, okay? She's walking, she's clearly outside of my box, then she needs to go into a full-on calm down. So I hold my pressure and hold that steady pressure. Do not pop and on and off and say your name and say sit. Don't do that, okay? All you have to do is stand here and hold a solid force of tension. And if she's not listening, adding more force isn't going to help. The next thing you want to do, see how quickly that worked? Because I blocked her from the cat and she realized, oh, tension's on, because I kind of broke her attention, right? Now if I need good girl. See, I just clicked my tongue. I would say her name, but I'm not going to use commands vigorously where I'm like, sit, 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 sit. Because what you're doing there is you're telling them, I'll say sit a dozen times and you can pick and choose at what point you would like to follow through with it. What you need to show them is that as soon as I say sit, I say it one time and I make sure that you follow through by using a leash. So you always have a way to follow through with your dog if you have a leash on them. If you do not have a leash on, you're relying on a language that your dog does not speak. They don't speak English, we don't speak bark, and it's unfair for us to just have no leash on her, no communication line, and start spitting out blah, 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 and expect her to know what we want her to do in our heads. We have to physically show her, if I want her to do something, Halo, yes, good girl. I follow through with it. Simple things like that, right? I wanted her attention. I didn't even need to say come, right? I didn't want her to come and do a formal sit. All I wanted her to do was stop focusing on the cat so much and focus on me again. Halo. Give her a little pop. Yes, good girl. Then when she does it right, yes, right? Give her that give her that baby talk, give her the praise, show her, yes, that's what I want you to do. The more you do that and you show her, look how good you're doing, look how good you're doing, she's going to do it quicker. She's going to feel better about herself. Walks are going to become easier. She's going to come a lot faster when you call her. If you call her to come in the house and she doesn't have a long line or a leash on her, you're kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage, because what's going to happen is she's going to learn, I don't have to actually come when they call me to come. I can decide if I feel like doing it right now or if I don't want to do it right now. She has to see consistency from you, that when I say come, you come to me every single time, and there's no different. Like every single time I say the word come, you come to me. Now, having a long line on helps you do that, because if you say her name, now you don't want to say come until you have her attention. So picture she's got the zoomies and she's running around the house and you want her to come to you, and she has a long line on, okay? I would say her name. I would stand in one place, running after her, trying to chase her, going up behind her. That's catering to her. That's saying we're playing right now. If a dog has something in their mouth that they're not supposed to and they're running away with it, chasing them to go get the object is totally telling them that they're, in control of this situation right here. I'll come to you and I'll get the toy from you. Don't worry about it. I'll do everything. When that's not how you want to perceive things. You need to think of it differently. You have to think, I want my dog to come to me and drop that item, right? So I'm picturing they have a piece of paper in their mouth and they're running away. Now she has a long line on. I would say, Halo. Okay, so let's say I don't even have to hold it, right? So I can step on the leash for security. So if she does try to take off the other way, boop, she can't get much further, right? Then I can do Halo. Halo, yes, good girl, come. Good girl, sit. Halo, I'm going to follow through. I told her to sit. Halo. Notice I haven't said it again yet because good girl, because I didn't have her attention. If I try to get her to do something before she's even paying attention to me with just using English and body language and hand gestures, she's not going to notice it, and she's not going to realize. This whole time I'm talking to the camera, she doesn't understand anything I'm saying right now. But when I say, Halo, come. Good girl, come. Yes. Sit. I add spatial pressure. Sit. So notice I've only said it twice now, right? I'm not going to make good girl. So I said it 2 times, okay? I didn't overdo it. Okay. And then releases. Releases are super important too, because she has to know when she's done with the command on your cue. If you let her just get up and leave whenever she wants, you're telling her she's in control. Again, you really have to make sure you're understanding that I tell my dog to do something. I tell them when they're done. I give them lots of reward and praise. And, really, I'm their leader. I'm helping them, making them feel good, secure, and showing them, not just telling them what I want them to do. I'm showing them I have follow through. I'm using my leash to give her, help and communicate with her in a way that she understands. And I'm making it so that we have so many sets of repetitions that it becomes a habit. So if you go to train for a marathon, you're not going to go in. If it were me, I'd have to, practice running up and down my street probably for the next month before I could even start moving on to, adding more laps and doing more physical, things. So when you train for a marathon, it's a process, and it's your muscle memory, and you're, making your body stronger. We're doing the same thing with our dog's brain, where we're training them to do something in a new way by having consistency and repetition. That's your obedient dog. So Miss Halo here's doing great. Like I said, she's been working on heel. We're going to keep working on that, making her a little bit more happy and secure with that. She's doing really well with place. She's doing great with waiting at the door. Her sit stays are doing well. So all in all, she's doing great. Potty training looks good. She's starting to play with the other dogs a lot more now, even the bigger dogs, which is awesome. She was, she wasn't scared of the other dogs, but she was definitely shy in the beginning. But now she's just out in the full daycare playing with the bigger dogs, and she's got some spunk, and she's actually, running around and playing with them now, which is awesome. Just because she's small doesn't mean that she can't, interact with all sizes and breeds, and it's important for her to know how to be around all types of dogs. So she's happy, she's safe, and she's doing a great job. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, or go ahead and jot things down so that you have things to remember to ask me on the take-home lesson. And also, just a heads up, if you want to go ahead and record the take-home lesson when I bring her there, you're more than welcome to. That way you have something to reference back to in the end. But hopefully this helps you guys. And like I said, if you have any questions, give me a call, let me know. Have a good one. Say bye, Halo.